Morning Year 5 and welcome back to remote learning. So we're really sorry we can't be in school for the next couple of days, but I really hope you engage with your remote learning, practicing your skills, because it means when we are back at school together, you will be ready to progress with your learning. So we're going to start this morning with reading. I'll just share my screen and we're going to start with a mixed comprehension for you to apply all of your Vipers skills to. So if you have some paper, that would be brilliant, or you can answer these in your head as you go along and test yourself at the end. So the first thing I want you to think about is that we're going to do mixed questions today, and all of your Vipers are going to be part of that. So there are going to be vocabulary questions where you're going to need to use your definitions and your synonyms. Inference will be there, which we've introduced to you this week. There might be a prediction question, thinking about what you think might happen next. You will have to explain where you found your evidence from, retrieve those key facts, and summarize the text. So I'm going to give you two options. This is option one, which is a slightly easier test and easier question. So I will read it to you first, or you can skip ahead the video if you'd like a slightly harder challenge. So, the fox and the stork. The Fox and the Stork is a type of story called a fable. Fables were written to teach people a lesson, and they usually have animals as their main character. There was a fox who just loved to make fun of other people. One day he invited a stork to dinner. "I have made some delicious soup specially for you," he said. But when they went to the table, the stork saw that the soup was in a very shallow dish, and she could not drink a single drop with her long, pointed bill. The fox laughed when she tried. "So you don't like my soup?" he jeered. "All the more for me." And he lapped up the whole lot. The stork was so hurt by the fox's behavior that she made up her mind to get her own back. "Do come to dinner with me," she said. "I know you are fond of soup, so I have made some specially for you." The fox licked his lips, thinking how stupid the stork was. But when he came up to the stork's table, he saw that she had put the soup in a jug with a long, thin neck, and his tongue could never reach it. "Tit for tat," snapped the stork in her prim voice. The fox went home hungry with his tail between his legs. So if you are answering these questions, you can pause the screen here and we'll just do the first 8 questions. So pause the screen, you can write on paper or you can go through these in your head, thinking back to the story. If you're ready for a slightly harder challenge, we will go to our next story, which starts, "My mother saw a dancing bear." This is a poem. "My mother saw a dancing bear by the schoolyard a day in June. The keeper stood with chain and bar and whistle pipe and played a tune. And Brune lifted up its head and lifted up its dusty feet, and all the children laughed to see its caper in the summer heat. They watched as for the queen it died. They watched it march. They watched it halt. They heard the keeper as he cried, 'Now roll, roly-poly, somersault.' And then my mother said there came the keeper with a begging cup, the bear with burning coat of fur, shaming the laughter to a stop. They paid a penny for the dance, but what they saw was not the show, only in Brune's aching eyes, far distant forests and snow." So if you're doing this text, again, we will just do the first 8 questions. So you can pause the screen there, write your answers on paper or think about them. And in a moment, I'm going to flick to the answers. So make sure you have paused before you see the answers. Okay, here are the answers. And we only went up to question 8. Here are the answers for number 1, the first text. So again, you can pause the screen there and you can use these answers to mark your own work. And once again, here is number 2. And again, we went up to number 8. So you can pause the screen there and mark your own work. Well done, guys. I will leave you now with some time to read your own reading book from home. And tomorrow we'll be carrying on with inference. So hopefully this has warmed up your reading comprehension brain. Have some time to read now. Make sure you're doing your AR quizzes if you finish your book. And I will see you later on for English.